All right, it is Saturday, January 6th. Local Swell trackers, Happy New Year. I'm back. Here we go out into the water. The upper level jet stream goes around the entire planet in the north and south pack. And we have some pretty good pockets over here, over 200 miles per hour. It's pretty steady. A lot of the high pressures heading off to the west coast. Well, let's fill in the animations here. You can see how that thing builds off of Japan, gets to the longitudes of Hawaii here at about 160 west. The date line right here at 180, and it's really decent. Now you see this dip right here. That's producing a circulation, counterclockwise circulation up in this zone for some really good swell. Really broad fetches and a ton of waves. We're looking at one right now, and I'll get into that as we go, but I just wanted to give you the overview of the current jet stream. It's looking really good. Now, it does get cut off here, but that's okay, because within this jet, another series of really big swell forms, and we could see some really big waves Saturday the 13th if the models hold out. Again, that's a beautiful jet stream. Again, split to our north, but not before the jet stream can help to spawn and steer some low pressures our way. Now, as time moves on, see this guy noses to right near our zone and steers the next system really close to us. And that is why, if the model fantasy plays out, we could have a really big swell. Again, filling in Friday and Saturday, Sunday, a week from today could be giant. We'll wait and see. It's way too early. A good rule of thumb is anything 4 days and out to put a question mark on that. So here we are, Saturday, January 6th on storm surface winds. Here's this guy spinning out here with some severe gales, some winds in that up to 45 knots and even higher. It's moving our way off of Japan. It does have a northeast tilt, but it gets some added fetch here on its west flank, and it's fairly long, fairly broad. This one's gonna boost us up on Wednesday to about 8 feet 15 seconds of swell, which should translate into solid 10 feet out of the northwest. And again, that would be Wednesday the 10th. This thing will be holding in that solid 10-foot range into Thursday when another system hits. And again, thanks to that jet I was pointing out, those winds allow this guy to be steered really close to us and follow the jet flow. Now, the jet stream's about 30,000 feet up, but it does cause circulation at the surface, and that fetch right there is going to get some support, and it's long, and it's nearby the islands. Deep water swells lose about half their height every 1,000 miles traveled. This doesn't have much more than 1,000 miles to travel, and thus these 25 to 30 foot seas are not going to have much time to dissipate. This particular batch of winds could lead to some 18-second periods of 15 feet, maybe even up to 18 if Wave Watch 3 pans out on Saturday afternoon. It's not likely, but at least we can give it a heads up that we have some extra large waves marching our way. Again, triple extra large with a 1-2 pulse. Definitely Waimea, definitely outer reefs, definitely jaws, and potentially, well, let's just say it, over 30 feet. Now, these winds could weaken. It could send more of its energy off to our northeast, which this one sends plenty, but we still get sideband swell. This one may not come together like it is today. We'll wait and see. So here we are with the swell heights produced by those surface winds we were just looking at. This energy you see up here is the swell we have today, Saturday, with swells building up to 5 to 7, maybe 8 feet. I'll get to the hindcasting in a second. We'll kick in the animations and take a look at that guy. Now, those are some 45-foot seas. It's past the date line here at 180. Even though the track isn't our way, there's going to be definitely enough energy in this beast. And can you imagine how big it is up there in the Aleutians and Gulf of Alaska? Look how wide that swell is. So we'll get plenty of energy coming in off its west flank. This one's going to, well, by the looks of this model, this one should get bigger than 10 feet. Be conservative here for Wednesday and Thursday, because most of this swell is passing us off, and a portion of it is sideband swell. Starting in the animations again, here comes the next swell I was pointing to. It's another one with just, some seas up to, near 50 feet in this guy, and we'll see what the satellites prove. But look how close this one gets, and it has a better track towards Hawaii, and it does have a follow-up fetch right on its heels. So again, we'll go ahead and roll this through. Really two fantastic storms in a row. That one's going to get potentially up to 12, and this one, well, we're going to wait and see before we claim, but that's going to be a big one, even if it gets downgraded significantly. Okay, why have we seen what we've seen the last week? It's been really good. Some of the best swell we've had in a long time is thanks to these storms that have a lot of westerly component, with the trade winds being back. And this is the really westerly component. It was kind of a complex low setup here for the end of last year and early January. This is the early January storm that brought us the waves last week. It was just a beauty. And again, all thanks to the way the swells were lining up on the reefs in the country and the easterly trade winds thanks to the high pressure over here. We do have a current swell here with some long period forerunners. The purple showing the 18 to 20 second forerunners of this west-northwest swell. There's some northwest in it. There's a little bit of north. The Hui backdoor got underway with the stand-up paddle and the longboarders and some body surfing, all thanks to this initial storm right here. And the next one coming up for Wednesday is right there. And this one even has a longer periods and more power, a lot closer to us. And oh yeah, all of this making its way over to the mainland America, of course, Mexico. Here comes the next one. The final one could be even bigger. Those are some extremely long periods there of 25 seconds due to the hurricane force pockets in that last storm. And we'll go ahead and run those beautiful long period swell trains one more time for our busy upcoming week. All right, well, down under, you see all those blues, that's high pressures. Now, the high pressures go counterclockwise, just the opposite as the North Pack, where we're looking. And here's New Zealand over here having a lot of troppiness and stormy activity. And let me start in the animations. Right over here off of New Zealand, we do see some dips, and there's some minor swell, but again, this no ideal setups. Now, later in the 7-day forecast period, we do have one meridional flow where we are going to see a low pressure come up here, and that should produce some, fun chest-high waves. Oh, probably, my guess is around the 20th. Forerunners could come in as early as the 19th. Friday the 19th, and last all through that weekend, and waist to chest, maybe shoulder high. Again, thanks to the jet stream helping to spawn and steer low pressures down at the surface. Now let's see what those surface winds do. A lot of highs. You can see them clocking right here. Today, Saturday, we do have a spinner right off of New Zealand. It's a compact low. It came, right over New Zealand, kind of not really tracking the right way, but it does spin enough. It's pretty weak here by Monday the 8th. Still could be bringing up some waves here this coming weekend, the 13th, 14th, 15th, somewhere around in there with some waist, maybe chest high, mostly just 2. But again, the thing about the season is that, it's January, and the South Shores have continued to deliver at least rideable waves. It has not gone mill pond flat except for maybe a day or two. Now, here on Tuesday the 9th, there's that flow that I was showing you in the jet that was kind of soft. This low probably won't make it, but these surface winds right here probably will. So this low pressure here, sketchy if 2 feet out of this guy on the 17th, which is a Wednesday. Much more likely from this fetch here, sending most of its swell off to our southeast. But right now the models are pointing to some, just over 1 foot of open ocean swell at 16 seconds on Friday the 19th. This is Thursday the 11th. It's got a ways to go. You can add, 6 to 8 days onto these. So they have so far to go. But they also lose a ton of their size. If this had 30 feet in it, 1,000 miles up, it's got 15. 1,000 miles up after that, it's got 7 or 8. And after that, you got 3, 3.5, and after that, you got, the story. We'll take a quick look at the actual wave heights produced by the surface winds we were looking at. So there was the one system you just saw off of New Zealand. Here comes a softy here, and then here's the guy for the 19th or 20th. It'll start off south-southwest and end up maybe a little bit more south. All right, the hand-drawn surface charts. Here we are down here at about 160 west and about 20 north. Latitude, high pressure off to our northeast. Another one moving into the north. The thing that's bringing in our waves has a front that'll be trailing down the island chain. This right now we're in a nice trade wind pattern, but coming up, I think Tuesday night it is, seeing a little bit of weather and some of the trade winds to get cut off due to that. A high pressure again to the northeast and a new one moving in, and there's even another one on the way. And here comes Wednesday's swell here, this low pressure right up here. Here's the low centered above the Aleutians that was the culprit for today's swell, and it's looking really nice and wintry. Okay, let's get into a little bit of weather. You can see the atmosphere is overall dry, fairly stable. The brown areas are the drier sinking air masses, and of course up here is where all the front is moving in. This is the intertropical convergence zone down here. It pretty much stays put. All in all, we're looking really like some decent weather, but that's going to change as that front again moves down the island chain. I think it's Tuesday night it gets to Kauai first, and it's the tail of it. It's not going to be the full brunt, this low pressure. From out in outer space, you can see the North Pac, and those big loops are the big lows. Drilling down a little bit more, you can see a real nice easterly flow to the winds, and again, it's very clear where all the storm activity is. Highs are going to be, in the 80s. Lows, boy, I tell you, some areas are getting down in the mid 60s, maybe even lower. That popcorn look to the clouds reveals the strength of the trade or the easterly flow. And again, there are some, broken to overcast clouds, but all in all, the smaller islands are pretty dry, and there's some interesting stuff going off to our southeast, a little low-level trough. It's been really great for the country, these easterly winds, after such a long period of north to northeast winds, finishing with the water vapor loops. There's some, showers upstream and spilling over to the leeward shore, but it's a great day to get out, get wet, and enjoy. Check the 5 and 10 day forecast for premium members. They get to see 6 cameras at one time for the North Shore, 4 for town. We've got some improvements on the way here, make it better and easier for you. So thanks for your support and patience. I'll be back next weekend with the next update at surfnewsnetwork.com. Mahalo for being here.